here. We are so excited. So I want to introduce myself. I'm Maria Lupita, psychic medium. And tonight I have with me my guest, Debby Garley-Williams. So say hello, Debby. Hi, everybody. Okay, and I also have Daniela Gurule. She's my sister. So my sister helps me out a lot with different projects. She actually, I call her my scribe. There are some times when she and I are either talking on the phone or on a trip together, and some amazing things will just happen to come out and up in conversation. So she keeps track of all of that with me. So hopefully you guys will be seeing a lot of my sister Daniela. So out of curiosity that you guys might have, my sister is also an empath. She's empathic and an empath. She takes on and feels emotions as though they were her own. I spoke about that yesterday. But my sister has a lot of experiences through her dreams. So when my sister calls me and says, oh my God, Loops, I had a dream about something, I pay attention. So I don't know if you want to, we can maybe talk about that at another time, Daniela, what it's like, and you know, being a sister to somebody who's psychic medium, the experiences that you've had, and also some ways that it comes up for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can say hello, this is Daniela.
Yeah, so hello everyone, honored to be here. And I'm so thankful to have Lupita as my sister. A lot of times we kind of joke even with my niece, like, oh my gosh, what would we do if we did not have Lupita to help guide us? And I know that through my life, just working with Lupita, with her guidance and learning tools and techniques, I have definitely transformed my life. So I'm so thankful. And you know, when we go for a cruise, it's not just a common cruise. We can be jamming out and then it'll turn into like, oh my gosh, okay, we need to start recording this or writing it down because this is good stuff. So I think Lupita has started several books while we're driving. So honored to be part of the process. And I know what a blessing it's been in my life and just how it, again, has transformed my life. So very honored to be here and honored to be doing the work and to meet Debby here. So thank you for joining us.
Yes. So I thought we'd do something a little bit different because a lot of the videos that I have posted have just been me talking about me and about the memory that I have about certain experiences. And so as I started to reach out, people started to reach out to me and saying like, I remember that. And I'm like, oh gosh, would you like to share about it? So this is how it started. I'm going to be reaching out, and several people that I've had profound sessions with are going to be able to come on, talk about their own experience. And I invited Daniela to be with us today to kind of moderate the process. Like I said, I want to be a neutral party in it. A lot of what I'm going to hear today from Debby, a lot of it I may not remember, or I might be hearing for the first time. So oftentimes after sessions, I hear where people say, oh gosh, you don't know what happens afterwards. And to be honest with you, I don't. I have an hour-long session with an individual. So usually it goes longer. So for those of you who've had sessions with me, because so much information comes through in a multitude of ways and about a multitude of things, my sessions go long. So even though I say that I meet with you for an hour, it usually tends to be on average about an hour and 15, an hour and a half, and sometimes longer, if you remember Debby. So you can talk about that in a while. Doing the work is super important. That's first and foremost for me. So I won't stop it in the middle of a session and say, time's up, or pay me more. I don't think that that's appropriate. I think that my main job is to be there to help people. And it's my job to end the session when the session is complete. And so oftentimes the sessions do go longer. So as Debby will probably mention today. So I do forget a lot of it. And it's not so much that I forget. So think about it. If I have had sessions and I showed like all of my pile of binders, hundreds and hundreds of sessions, that's a lot of information to retain. And so there are things that stand out that are really profound, and there are things that I don't get the benefit to hear from. So after I have that session with a person for that hour and a half or however long it is, I don't know the benefit of what happens after, who they talk to, the experiences they've had, revelations that they've had. Oftentimes things come up in sessions that may not like fully click in the session, and then I hear about it afterwards and say, oh my God, I remembered, and they'll tell me about it. So I'm really excited to hear about your session, Debbie, too. So
yes.
can't wait to hear about it. Okay. So to give some context, I want to just talk about that really quick. Is pets, animals, who would think that we would be able to communicate with them not only in life, but also when they've transitioned. So let me give an example of two different scenarios. So recently, probably sometime early summer, actually, I was talking with a client, and all of a sudden I was in the session thinking, like, one of your children bathes your dog in Tide and does not like it. And then the person was like, what? So I find out afterwards that she actually went to her daughter and was like, hold on a second. Okay, I had this session and you're bathing the dog in Tide. And she was like, oh my God, she ratted me out. And she's like, no, do you not understand that the dog told Maria that you're bathing her in Tide and doesn't like it? And she's like, yeah, she's a snitch. And the didn't get it is like, the dog told Maria.
Yeah.
So that's shocking. So oftentimes in sessions, I do feel their pets either alive or even transitioned. Another example is that if pets they're part of our family. I would not have known that if I did not have my own dog, Luli. So I'm not a big animal person. Animals are a lot of responsibility because they are a family member. It is like having a baby. It's like while they're younger, and then caring for them all the way through life. And so I had my experience with her. And so in sessions, oftentimes they come up and they feel like children. Okay. So I had a session with another good friend, Amanda, and she's sitting across from me, and I'm like, you have 3 kids? And she's like, I don't have kids. And I'm like, you have 3 kids? And she's like, I don't have 3 kids. I'm like, did you miscarry? Did you, is it somebody else's? And I'm like, I know you're telling me you don't, but you do. So it turns out that she has her 3 dogs, and every single one of them is just like a child. She does not have children of her own, so her animals are her babies. And that's what we have to understand. So animals have essence, and when they cross over, that essence still exists. Everything that is created in this universe is made of the same energy and essence, whether it is tethered to a body or an object while in life, or when it's released after. It doesn't matter. The essence, the energy that is that being will always and forever remain. And so oftentimes I will pick up on animals after they've made their transition, especially in close relationships like Debbie has had with her girl Sam. So that's background information about pets. Where do they go afterwards? Well, it's not like they have, like a separate heaven for animals. They are in a realm, and I constantly try to explain that is, we're immersed in it. It's here with us, but it's just another layer of energy, of sensing and feeling. So if you think about it, like I like to use the example of an ocean. So the deeper in the ocean, the more dense it is, but that still exists. And even out of the water, we still have another layer, which is the air. And after that, we have the ozone layer. And after that, we have ethers. And after that, we have more. So it extends, and we are surrounded, immersed in it, and they are part of it. So it's not like animals go to a separate and different place. They are there together. Now, how they are managed, that's a whole other complicated topic, but just know for now that the animals have their personalities. They have that soul. It is tethered into the bodies and it's not just cats, it's not just the ones that are our pets, but that exists for all animals. And so it's an incredible thing, and to realize that, that God and the universe is grand, and we are all part of it, including animals, even objects. That's why psychometry is possible. So even objects carry energy and essence and vibration. And in quantum physics, I'll actually say, that nothing is separate. It's just one field of energy. And so just know that we are part of that. So that's background information about pets, kind of what happens in the middle, what kind of happens afterwards. And so now, Daniela, I'm going to hand it over to you. Daniela is going to be our interview moderator. And so I get to listen in. So thank you, Debbie, for being here. Thank you, Daniela, for being willing to do this as well.
Definitely. So thank you for that background, that information. So Debbie, so let's hear from you. So how did you hear about Lupita? How did you find her?
I had a counselor that was helping me with grieving issues, and she had mentioned Lupita. I had lost an uncle, and then when I lost Sam, Sam was really devastating for me. And so then she referred Lupita, and I made an appointment with Lupita, and we had our first session.
Good. And was your first session, was it by phone or in person?
We kept trying to set up by person, but our schedules wouldn't meet. So we ended up doing it by phone. The first 2 times we did it by phone.
Good.
And, yeah, it was amazing the things that she knew. I mean, she's never been in my house, and things that she knew.
So speaking into that, Debbie, so can you tell us, in your own words, let us know can you describe what your experience was in your sessions with Lupita? Like how you said she's never been to your house, and it's awesome the things that she picked up on. So can you describe that to us? What was your experience?
So the first time I met her, I went to my room and I was sitting on my bed, and she knew about a picture. She kept saying that Sam had a favorite picture, and that it was in a room that I sat in. And it was Sam by herself, and it was in a green background. And I kept thinking about it. Well, on my mantle, there's a picture of Sam by herself in the park. Well, she's not by herself, but it's a picture of her in the park, but it's cropped out for. And so she was talking about that picture, and then she kept talking about a collar, and I said yes, around her urn I have her from Hawaii. And she said, no, it's a different collar. It was a red collar. Well, I had just put her red collar away in the file cabinet with all her other stuff. So now it's sitting on her picture that she liked. And then I was telling Lupita that I was sitting on my bed talking to her. I said, I'm in my room, I'm on my bed. But she said that every time that I said my bed, that's the picture of Sam.
So this is Sam here. Oh, precious.
She could see the green, and then that's the color, and then that's Sam in her little urn. I kept telling her that I was in my room sitting on my bed, but every time I said my bed, she said that Sam would get really upset. She's really upset about something. Well, it turned out that I used to always ask Sam if I could sleep in her bed. If I could sleep with her in her bed. So to her, it was her bed. So when I had I'm sitting on Sam's bed, then she said Sam was happy.
Oh, that's funny.
And
so their personalities.
And that is so amazing. And did you go into this session specifically wanting to make that connection, or did Sam come up?
No, it was a meeting it was a session for Sam.
Okay.
How my girl was. I just missed her so much.
Thank you for sharing with that. So Lupita, we're going to go back and forth. So Lupita, so what type of session is that, and who would benefit from this, from a type of session like Debbie? And so if you can tell us, what type of session is that?
Okay, so interesting. To be honest with you, in the beginning, I had a really hard time distinguishing the difference of sessions. So if you guys watched a video that I did yesterday, I was talking about all kinds of different psychics and different things that we do. And I do a combination of all of that. And I barely touched on, I barely mentioned that, I kind of dabble in pretty much everything. Dabbled in astrology, dabbled in palm reading, dabbled in even looking at people's signatures and all kinds of things. So I do a little bit of everything. So when somebody reaches out to me, I used to ask them, well, are you wanting the intuitive guidance or are you wanting mediumship? And then I would ask, well, are you open if a loved one comes through? And then I finally just stopped even distinguishing the difference. So if somebody
Wonderful.
has a session with me, they're going to get a little bit of everything. So I don't know if this came up for you, Debbie, but did any medical like stuff come up for you? I feel like it did.
It was my dad. But,
It was your
the one,
dad.
yeah.
Okay, so then maybe we can talk about that in a second. So I used to distinguish whether people wanted a mediumship session or whether they wanted a psychic session. So, but I don't distinguish them anymore because it all comes through. And like I said, that whatever needs to be said will be said. It feels to me like I'm working, like I'm a soul reader. That's probably, if I had to use any description for me, that would probably be what it is. Because I'm sensing and feeling the souls of people's past, the souls that people are here, the soul of the person I'm reading for. Oftentimes it's a combination of things. So I'm just trusting that in that moment, whatever needs to be said will be said. So it could be combination of medical, combination mediumship, combination of psychic, intuitive. And so, yeah, just depends on where the person's at. Anybody can benefit from it.
Okay. And Debbie, so thank you. And so in your sessions, was there anything that really, really stood out to you? I know that you said that you had a couple of sessions. Were any of your sessions different than just, talking to Lupita? So what were your sessions, if anything was different, and was there something that really stood out to you besides, what you mentioned already?
3 sessions were with Sam. So the first one I described. The second one, we were on the phone again, and I was having a really hard time. I was just really missing her, but I could smell her and I could hear her. And like Lupita talked about the ocean, she had explained that to me that for me to, I could hear barking, but my dog was getting up, and I was sound asleep and I woke up to a bark, but my dogs never woke up, and that happened like twice. I went back to sleep and woke up again. And so what it was, she said, was like if Sam was up in the ozone or way up here, and I was in the deepest part of the ocean, Sam had to come down that far to come and talk to me to try and.
Wow.
So that was nice. The second session was really kind of strange with that, but also she kept telling me that Sam was being petted funny, that a boy was petting her head, but was petting it funny. And did Sam like to be petted a certain way? And I said, no. And so then she said, well, this boy is confusing me because he keeps telling me to tell Debbie to tell Debbie. And she didn't know what that meant. And then she talked about him being a teacher and about some keys. The day after Sam passed, and I hope my friend Debbie doesn't get upset, but her son passed the day after. Sam was very much a boy. She loved her boys. She loved girls, but she loved boys. My boy never disciplined my nephew. So anyways, when my friend's son Michael passed the day after, I really felt that Sam had passed knowing that she was going to have to be there for Michael. So it turns out that it was Michael telling the people to tell me, to tell his mom that he was fine and not to worry. And he had been a teacher with his mom at church. He had just received keys, I believe, to work, so they were on a lanyard that his mom hadn't seen. And they used to tease him about the way he petted dogs. So I ended up having to get a hold of his mom and tell her. And I think she did. So that was the second one. The third one I did in person, and actually Lupita did a journey for me. And so that journey was the most amazing. It was just amazing. So she said that she saw Sam and I were in together in the past several times. But this one where I was a Native American and Sam was a wolf had really stuck out in her mind. And so I guess Sam had, as a wolf, had jumped in front of me to save me and got an arrow in the chest and passed. And the Native American never got over it, kind of like I wasn't getting over Sam. So she did the whole, she blew spirit into my head, and then she said that she would blow my spirit animal into my heart. Well, it turned out that my spirit animal was Sam. Sam showed up to be my spirit animal. So I freaked out with Lupita because I told her 2 things. One, I used to always tease Sam about her little cow lick in her chest and ask her if she got shot a long time ago to save Mama. Why I would do that, I don't know, but I used to do that.
Wow.
And then I always told my husband, I would say, if anything happens and they do anything with my heart and there's a little fuzzy tumor, don't remove it, because that's Sam. And then she blows Sam into my heart. So it was really, really amazing. And then the fourth time I saw her was when my dad passed. And my sister and I went and we took my dad's some stuff in a box, because I wanted to see if Lupita would know what it was. Well, Lupita started having arm problems and her chest was starting to hurt, and my dad had a stent and was having heart problems, and so then my dad passed, but she was starting to feel what my dad was feeling with that one. And when she talks about people, she just has to give the message out. So we were kind of talking to my dad, but then my dad stepped aside to let my brother-in-law's parents talk to me.
Wow.
So she's right. She has no control over who's going to come and talk or who's going to say anything. So my dad stepped aside to let my brother-in-law's parents talk to my sister to give him a message.
Wow.
All of them have been different, but they've all been amazing. They've all been
Wow.
all the time.
Wow.
Say that again. I didn't hear that part.
And I recommend you all the time.
I love that. And
Thank you,
Debbie, thank you so much for just having the courage to come and to share this with us, because it gives all of us so much hope for, individuals who have passed on, to know that we have that connection. And I just really thank you for sharing your experience. And I think that just gives all of us that hope that we are still connected.
Lupita has a picture of Sam where my son took a picture of her in the park. And to me, it just reminds me, or it looks to me like she's saying, bye, Mom, don't worry about me. I don't know if you have.
I think I do. Let me pull that one up, Debbie. Is it this one?
Oh.
So after she passed, I saw that picture and I told my mom, I said, look, that's Sam turning back and telling me, don't worry about me. My mom can't look at that picture anymore.
I love that.
Well, this is what's interesting to me, Debbie, is that like even in sessions where they'll clarify it for me. So I would have said like a blue collar, but like for it to be like, no, this one's very specific. It's, to be that distinguishing, to be able to tell the difference of like, no, that's not the one they're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
And then I have, go ahead.
Go ahead. Did you want to show another picture or?
There was one more that I wanted to, that Debbie had sent me, and you could describe this more because I'm not even gonna, okay. It's your story, so I'll let you share that. It's the one on the mantle.
So when, let's see. Oh, you can't see it on that one, Lupita.
Okay, I was wondering, so it might be partially cut off. If you're on a computer, you can share the control, or if you want to send it to me and I can share it, maybe in a smaller one, because I think that this is just a small portion.
Yeah, so you want to get the upper right-hand corner. You want me to send it to you again?
Sure.
So meanwhile, Lupita, so Debbie mentioned that you all did a journey. So can you speak into that and let us know what is that? What is that journey about?
Okay, so one of the things that was coming up again was this really deep feeling of like, why the connection? Why with Sam? And then most people from the outside looking in would be like, it's a dog. But it's not. Like, so what came up in the session, and I mentioned this in the video yesterday about the different description of sessions, is that of sensing and feeling the past lives. And so it was a really intense feeling, like, and as Debbie mentioned, that instinctively at a soul level, she had already experienced that spontaneously she would say things out of her mouth like, you know, oh, is that where you got a bullet for your mama? Like, you saved me. Like, why would she say that? I had no idea, you know, and she told me that like way afterwards. And so that was the validation that she needed. So what a journey is, and so behind me right here is I'm a mesa carrier. Like I said, I have formal trainings, initiations, and shamanic studies, but it's more than that. I don't even like to claim it or even call the word or say it really. They're personal tools, and they're just tools. And so what I did with Debby in that session was we needed to go deeper. We needed to really understand, like, why at a soul level is this so traumatic? Why is it that she felt even debilitated, if I may say so, Debby? And you know, her words of like, I just can't. So a journey is an actual thing. What I did with her in the shamanic traditions, I did called a soul retrieval. When we have traumatic experience, part of ourselves stays fragmented in whatever that other experience is, whether it's another time, something out of the past. And so it's about part of us stays fragmented. So whenever we feel ourselves being drawn and pulled into a memory, into a painful experience, we know that that part of ourselves is, for lack of a better term, trapped there in that experience. And so what I did with Debby is we did a really deep healing session where I did an entire journey for her and did a soul retrieval for her. And in there, a lot of information came out, the thing about her heart. I didn't know that she would say, you know, like her fuzzy tumor, you know, so all of these different pieces that were parts of a puzzle that I had no clue, you know, and that she got clarity on afterwards as why she said those things and why those things came up. So a journey is a shamanic tradition, but because I have also training in hypnotherapy, is that I also do, like, I created a hybrid also to where I can help people go through an experience and be guided. So rather than me telling them the experience, I guide them so that they can experience it for themselves. So that's what a soul retrieval is, and that's what a journey is.
Okay. Thank you so much for enlightening us about that. Did you get the picture? Did you want to bring it up?
I think so. So let me see if I got
and
it.
Debby, it just warms my heart. I am so honored to be here with you. And I think anyone who can relate, who has lost, you know, a pet or a loved one, is just being blessed.
Debby. Okay,
You remember it now?
we're in for this. Wow. Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
And I was a Native American, and so I was clearing out duplicate pictures. And
Oh my gosh.
And I think the other picture I sent you was the duplicate as well without it. I'm not sure. And if you kind of look over, if you take the corner of the picture and go to the left, kind of the elbow of the native, in that purple space or in that maroon space, you can kind of see a wolf. It's kind of hard to see it in a small picture, but
is it here in the upper corner, or because I can see something?
So come right there and go to the left a little bit. Oh, come down. Come down.
I see it right there, right here.
So
okay,
I have no idea where this picture came from or why this happened or whatever. I have a picture of it now that I keep. Actually, I have it right here that I keep on my fireplace with Sam's urn. And
so that people at home that are looking at this is not a picture that you have, but this appeared in the photograph, right?
The other picture that you showed that it wasn't Jen, that's the original picture. Well, they both are. They're both duplicates. It's just I was just clear out my computer with duplicates, and this was on this. And this I saw this after my journey.
Wow.
When I sent it to you, you said that was exactly what you saw, what I look like.
Yeah. So I remembered, and this is why I was so thankful and so excited for you to share your story, because I can talk about this, you know, until I'm blue in the face, you know, but for somebody else to be able to explain their experience, we cannot explain this. So let me just explain this a little bit more, and I'll come back and share it. So in that journey that we did with Debbie, it was also a past life where Sam was in that experience with her as a wolf. They were bound soul brothers. Debbie was male. Debbie in that lifetime was not female, she was male. And so, right? So
Yes.
I was explaining and describing all of it to her, and how I do recall in that journey where Sam as the wolf was running through and actually jumped and then actually caught, it was an arrow at the time, caught it right in the heart. And I was describing it right here. And then Debbie, after the fact, tells me, well, you know, Sammy girl's got a cowlick, always right there. And then she told me after the fact of how she would spontaneously say, like, you took a bullet from mama. So I was like, what? So you can't make this stuff up. I mean, you can't make this shit up. I mean, you just can't. You know? So like, this is why I get so excited to hear about the stories, because, you know, like, I don't get the full benefit afterwards sometimes.
You know, and I just want to say I've been with my sister at you know, just normal places, and I think, you know, Lupita will start sensing and feeling things, and if again she, you know, will ask the individual, you know, can I share something with you, or that people are just drawn to her and start talking about all this stuff. So we could be like at the store or wherever, and everybody's crying, you know, like someone's coming through, but it's so powerful and meaningful. So I'm just thankful for your gifts and talents, Lupita, and Debbie. It just warms my heart to hear your experience and to share part of yourself with us. So I really thank you for that. And again, I'm just so honored to be able to witness, not only for my own life, but for others, the gift of messages coming through, along with like the life coaching and guidance, and such a blessing. So I know when I saw that photograph, I had goosebumps, and
oh, let's look at that again. I want to see that again. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
A lot of people ask me, that see it, they'll ask me, are you afraid? Does it make you afraid to sit there with it? And it doesn't. If anything, it's more comforting than anything. And then my grandniece, she's 5, and she'll tell me, Nina or Tia, can I see your picture of the ghost? Can I hold your picture of the ghost? And then she'll sit on the couch and just stare at it.
interesting. I love it.
And just incredible.
And I because I was male then, that's why Sam was more drawn to boys. Then my niece and my nephew could spend the night, but she would sleep next to my nephew. She was just always with the boys. My youngest,
I'll see it right here.
You couldn't get mad at my youngest.
That is so amazing. And so, Debbie, is there anything else you would like to share with us about, gosh, this is just profound, but anything else you'd like to share with us about your experience? Any last words, I would say?
No, I mean, just it's just amazing. I mean, people should just try it, but they have to have an open mind. They can't, even if they don't believe in it. One of my sons does. My older son does. He believes in this picture. My younger son, he doesn't. He goes, I can't explain it, but I don't believe it. And it's like, it's fine. You know, you don't have to.
Yeah.
But I think everybody should at least see what it feels like. I think it's just amazing, especially the journey. I think out of all of it, the journey was my favorite.
Wow.
Again.
That's such validation, just that soul contract or agreement through lifetimes, how powerful that is. And I bet that was just such validation for you. Oh, I love it. That makes me emotional. I can only imagine And so, and Lupita, anything else you'd like to share with us?
Oh man, I love this, and I love you being on, because it actually gives me the opportunity to, you know, have somebody neutral and know the questions to ask. So this has been a blessing and a benefit for me too. I love what Debbie said about, like, you know, there oftentimes might be some fear about this. So, you know, there are people who are intuitive or mediums or psychics that do not have the best intentions, that they, you know, it's just like any person in life. You know, there's good people and then there's bad people. It doesn't matter what profession you're in. I made the mistake that thinking that people who do this work, that all of them are spiritual. Well, not all of them are spiritual or religious, or, you know, so everybody is going to be drawn to working with whatever person they work with. If you work with me, and Daniela, you know this, you're my sister. We were brought up in the same familia. We have that sense of responsibility, obligation, and honor. So I really work with it in honor, in balance, and with guidance and with God. So with God's grace, and like I said before, if I could not get rid of this, because I honestly did think it was a curse, my curse got worse. And I didn't like it. I didn't want it. I felt too much. Even as a little girl, as my mama would say, my favorite thing, I would say, don't talk to me too much. I think I just felt too much. I felt it all. But I really had to learn how to work with it after Bianca and after the near-death experience. And not because I couldn't get rid of it. Like I said, I had to pray. Hey, God, if I can't get rid of it, show me. And so I've had the benefit of, you know, learning how to work with it, understanding the difference, and really working with it in a way that is in balance, in harmony, in honoring people, honoring their soul's choice, honoring who the individual is, because who am I? If I mess with people's choices, I create a karmic debt. I'm sorry, but nobody is worth me creating karmic debts. We don't like living in life, and karmic debt creates us having to come back in life. So I try to live as cleanly as possible. So the work that I do is always with that in mind, always in honoring of the soul, always with only God, even though there's all of it. So that's how I choose to work.
And so, and I loved how you said that you just go into the session and just let it naturally unfold and see what comes up. However, if individuals do obviously have specific questions or they're going for a certain reason, they can definitely help guide that as well. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. So for example, in the session that I had today, I started off at the beginning of the session bringing up some information about a past relationship. Well, I felt it wasn't the time or the place to do that, so I didn't. And then only to find out afterwards and saying, okay, well, I know we're a little bit over. We were on the session for about an hour and 10 minutes already. And I'm like, do you have any questions? Is there anything that I've left unopened? Very rarely do people's questions not get answered. It's been very, very rare. And here's the thing, and I probably told you this too, Debbie, I don't want to know anything. I don't like for people to tell me a thing. It messes with me. It actually interferes. So they think like, oh, well, it's helpful. I'm like, please don't say anything, because I don't want to be tainted. I don't want to be anything. So I'm like, I go in with a fresh, clean slate. Even if I didn't have to know last names, I wouldn't know last names. It doesn't matter, you know, so don't tell me anything. And whatever needs to come up will. If the person, like Debbie said, has an open mind, that's all that they need. And knowing that it's in balance and for good to help.
Okay.
So, that's what you did say when we were on the phone. The first thing you said was, don't tell me anything. Don't, you know, let's just go from here, but don't say anything. Don't let me know anything. So she had no idea about Sam being on the mantle with that picture, you know, so I didn't tell. And then when she would say things like when she did say, well, you know, she's on the grass and it's all green or whatever, I said, well, can I tell you yes or no yet? So
good.
So that's true. I had to learn that. I would tell people, don't tell me anything. And finally, when I had to finally like understand, like, oh, well, you can answer, but just don't leave me or don't like, yeah. So I had to learn how to tell people, yes, you can talk with me, but just don't lead. Like, don't tell me anything and I'll ask you questions.
So just to kind of reiterate that, so when going into a session with you, just to allow you to get a good sense and feel to start off and trusting the process that it'll naturally, what needs to come through will, but it's also good to have your questions ready and available to ask in that process as well. But that's good to know that in the beginning, just to come in with a clean slate so that you can sense and feel what needs to come through. So that's wonderful to know that process. So
I think the other thing is to know that if, I think people are really afraid of, oh my God, what is she going to tell me? Like, like they don't want to know the scary stuff. Nothing will come through unless you're ready and prepared to hear it. That's the other part. So oftentimes people might be struggling with something and not even realize it, but it'll come out in the session. So that you don't have to be fearful. Now, here would be the other thing is that if you do have a session in front of other people, your stuff will come out, so like today I had to be really careful to be like, to kind of skirt it because the timing of it wasn't really appropriate and I knew it. So like, if it's not, I won't, so I can actually sense it and feel it and know when it's appropriate and when it isn't.
Yeah. And all sessions are confidential, obviously. And just knowing if you bring an individual, just know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas with the other person. Okay. Wonderful.
Yes, absolutely. Now that's the thing is that confidentiality. Oh
Totally.
My gosh. Because again, I am responsible for everything I do and say. And here's the thing is that I can't retain it all. So I forget names, I forget places, and it's looking good.
Yeah. Wonderful. And so Lupita, I think, this has been such an honor. And so just a question. So if someone wants to set up a session with you, how does one go about that?
Thank you. So I am so excited to finally be back doing this great work. Right now, people are able to get a hold of me through Facebook. I do have a booking feature on the Facebook page. I'm in the middle of building a website, so hopefully the website will be able to handle some of that traffic. But for right now, here on Facebook, that's one of the ways, either through Messenger or a direct message, or and there is a book now feature there. And then I will eventually have the phone number that they can call as well as a website. But for now, Facebook is probably the best way.
Wonderful. Okay, ladies. So I think this has been such a great experience. And Debby, just again, thank you so much for sharing yourself with us, and Sam, and wow. And that I'm just blown away by that picture. And if that isn't validation, I don't know what is. But it is about, believing, and we all have our own, ability and choice to do that. So again, I just thank you for being willing to be here, and I hope everyone enjoyed this gathering. And do you ladies have any last words to say before we say goodnight and over and out?
I think you said something.
Thank you.
Thank you, Debby. Thank you so much for your willingness to do this and sharing the story, because a lot of it, like I said, it's been years, so I'm not too sure exactly when. Okay, so I have to ask, did you recently either hurt or injure your knee? Are you having to brace it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you have to be careful, because so you're like, hell no, I'm not going to do surgery.
No, I don't want to.
Okay, brace it. Make sure you wrap it really good, okay? So be really careful. And the other thing I wanted to ask you is, are you still in competitions? Did you, this year, you would have, there's something about it. So are you doing say that again?
We were wanting to, but with the COVID and everything, it's by the wayside. But yes, I did. I still.
Okay, good. Now the other part of it too is, are you wanting to branch out and to do things online?
I am doing stuff online for the gym.
Okay, so for yourself or to lead, because it feels like you actually teaching classes. So if you haven't done that already, I don't know if you're actually taking classes, but actually it feels like you leading classes.
I was teaching before the COVID, and I
Okay.
teach on Thursday mornings. We do online, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, now are you also branching out into yoga?
I thought about it, but I didn't do it this year. I
Okay.
didn't think.
Okay, so that would actually do really good for you, because what it's feeling like is like you work your body so much, but not so much recently. So like you're feeling like more stuck and not, it's more having to do with energy, because you're a petite person. It has to, but it feels like you feel heavy, like dense. Okay, so it feels like the yoga would actually do really good for you, and it would actually help to loosen up that knee. And I feel like it's water. So I don't know if you've actually gone, if they've actually, I see syringes and even like removing of liquid in the knee. Have they looked at it?
They've looked at it, but they haven't done anything. I don't really want to do anything yet.
Okay. So pay attention to the buildup of the liquid in the knee. Use an extra brace to support it, and that'll actually feel better. It just feels like supporting it. Also, when you can work with it at night, because here's the thing, you have the fear of going into the surgery. So, so think about this, whatever we're in fear of, if it's like, oh God, please keep my knee safe, but all of our thoughts and all of our feelings and our emotion is stuck in the fear of it. And the only image in our head is the surgery. So instead, look at it the reverse. Okay, so think about like, thank you God for my knees being so strong. You're still gardening. You're doing some, I see you kneeling down in the back. I see flagstones. Did you kneel on something in a weird way?
I don't know. I'm not sure how I heard it. But
Okay.
I'm always doing something.
Okay, so I see something specifically in the backyard. So it feels like you actually like digging I don't know if they're bulbs or something, but I see you on your knees. You're not, like you get so involved that the pad is way over here and you're over here on your knees without it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't use a pad on my knees.
Okay, use a pad on your knees. So that's what I'm thinking, like the padding, the brace and all of that, really protecting the knee, giving it extra protection, giving it the cushioning and being careful with it. And then see it as like you're thanking your knee. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for all the work that you've done for me. So reversing it, because what's happening is the fear of the surgery that almost like, I don't want to say it creates it, but it holds us in not such a good place. So do the opposite. So think positive your knee, thanking it and all of that. Does that make sense? Okay.
See, and I love, go ahead, Loops.
And I was just gonna say, I see, like, rare for me to see, but a symbol for me is balloons. So either somebody is about to have a birthday, just recently had a birthday, it has to do, so balloons is a birthday. Who feels like a birthday?
Saturday, and my birthday was Saturday, and my husband is in a week.
Huh. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you both.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, and I want to talk about a knife. So I don't know if I don't know if it's a pocket knife. It feels like it's engraved. It feels like it has somebody's name on it. It feels like it's on your dad's side. So who of the boys has a knife? Little knife.
I don't know.
Ask your sister. My ear's ringing. Ask your sister. And then let me know. Yeah, it's a knife and it feels like either a name is written on it or it's like engraved, but not it's old, small. One of the boys, it's a knife. Little pocket knife.
I had given a pocket knife to my nephew with his name on it.
Okay, that happened after he passed, or?
No, my nephew. My nephew's
yeah. No, that's what I mean. The knife was given to him after your daddy passed?
Maybe. Yes.
So that's what I'm wondering is that, so this is your dad's way of saying, like bringing up the boys and then like showing them the knife. Like I see a knife. So it's a way just to acknowledge them and stuff. So I don't know what the significance is, but of the boys.
I'll ask them.
Okay, yeah, let me know.
And if they have one, it was my dad.
Mm-hmm. So I see somebody, one of the boys with a pocket knife that has the name engraved or written on it. And it somehow it has to do with your daddy.
I'll ask them.
Okay, yeah, and then let me know. I'm curious.
I love that.
Alrighty.
So maybe I can just bring something up. So, and I love how, just you, Debbie, being with us helps us as well, how we were talking about, not to be in the fear. So that's something that I've been talking to Lupita about. So Lupita, maybe this would be a good other topic to talk about in one of your videos of how to not be in the fear of something, but how you're saying to thank the knee and to switch from that fear into like the health or the positive aspect. Because sometimes that could be really hard when individuals are dealing with health issues or and fear can be so overwhelming. So I would say I would love to hear about that on one of your videos and would love to be involved perhaps. So maybe that's a good a good topic to talk more about. So just you speaking to Debbie, is just a reminder and also helps myself and perhaps people listening as well. So thank you for that. And this has been wonderful. And I love, so there you go, Lupita in action, everyone. So, if you feel that you are in wanting some guidance, we all have our own individual experiences and we can always use some guidance and some insight. So if you want to reach out to Lupita, I know that it would definitely be a blessing. And thank you ladies for being here this evening. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you, Debbie, so much. All righty. Okay. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for being with us. Daniela, I really like this format. Debbie, I'm honored you're the first person to come on and do this type of interview. So thank you so much. And thank you for sharing your story. Thank you. All righty. So may everybody have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
All righty.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.